There has always been a difference between an entertainer and a wielder of Heka. An entertainer seeks attention. A wielder of Heka seeks awakening. One hopes to be remembered. The other hopes humanity remembers itself. Entertainment asks, did they enjoy it? Heka asks, did they change? Throughout history, there have been individuals whose words carried more than melody, more than poetry, more than performance. Their voices became mirrors held up to civilization. Their art became medicine. Their lyrics became philosophy disguised as rhythm. Their music became Heka, speech intended to awaken consciousness rather than simply occupy ears. Listen carefully to Marvin Gaye's What's Going On. That was never just a hit record. It was a diagnosis. It was a question aimed at an entire society. What's Going On was not asking for information. It was exposing collective blindness, war, poverty, environmental destruction, inequality, spiritual exhaustion. These were not verses written to entertain. They were observations meant to provoke reflection. Millions bought the record. Millions sang the chorus. Yet much of the suffering that inspired the song continued. Imagine witnessing people celebrate your warning, while the warning itself remains largely unheeded. Imagine becoming wealthy, while the conditions you hoped would change continue almost unchanged. Wealth without transformation can become a heavy burden for an artist whose deepest purpose was never accumulation, but awakening. This tension has surfaced across generations. Kendrick Lamar wrestles openly with responsibility, guilt, fame, and the limits of celebrity in Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. His work asks whether success can heal the inner conflicts that success itself sometimes creates. Lauryn Hill also spoke publicly about the pressures of the entertainment industry and stepped away from the spotlight for a period, describing the toll that fame, commercial expectations, and the industry itself had taken on her sense of peace. Many listeners celebrated her music, yet she often described protecting her spirit as more important than remaining constantly visible. This is one of the great paradoxes facing artists whose work is rooted in conviction. The marketplace often rewards what is profitable, while the artist may be striving to communicate something far deeper. Commercial success can create pressure to repeat what sells, rather than continue speaking uncomfortable truths. The temptation becomes subtle. Compromise a little here. Soften a message there. Avoid this subject. Emphasize that one. Until the art slowly begins serving the market instead of the conscience. Here, the larger question emerges. What happens when a society measures nearly everything by profit? Profit itself is not evil. It is a tool. But tools become dangerous when they become the highest value. A system organized primarily around financial return naturally asks, will this sell? Before asking, will this heal? It asks, can this make money? Before asking, can this make people wiser? Truth becomes a product. Revolution becomes branding. Authenticity becomes marketing. Even pain becomes content. Yet look at the universe itself. The sun does not charge the earth for its light. Rivers do not invoice the forests they nourish. Trees never demand payment from the birds that nest within them. Bees pollinate flowers without contracts. The air enters every lung without requiring currency. No child enters existence carrying a bill from creation. The living world operates through relationship, reciprocity, and interdependence long before human beings assign prices to everything they touch. This raises another question. If creation itself was not organized around profit, why have so many human systems come to behave as though profit alone determines value? Consider homelessness. The word homeless can become a label that ends curiosity, instead of beginning it. Behind that single word may exist housing shortages, trauma, unemployment, family breakdown, mental health struggles, addiction, economic pressures, or policy decisions. The label describes a condition, but not necessarily its causes. The same can be said for addiction. Individual responsibility matters, yet societies also shape the environments, incentives, and opportunities within which choices are made. If we only name people by their outcomes, while ignoring the conditions that contributed to those outcomes, we risk treating symptoms while leaving deeper causes untouched. Human beings created economic systems. Human beings can improve economic systems. No model is beyond examination simply because it has existed for generations. Every society has the capacity to ask difficult questions about what it rewards, what it neglects, and what it considers success. The greatest wielders of Heka understand something the marketplace often forgets. Their purpose is not merely to create products. Their purpose is to plant seeds of awareness. Some seeds bloom immediately. Others wait decades before they are understood. The measure of true Heka has never been the size of the audience, the number of awards, or the balance in a bank account. The measure is whether truth continues transforming minds long after the voice that first carried it has become silent. Ashe.